Welcome to TT from the D Wind Down Wednesday. It's your girl TT from the D, and I want to thank you for stopping by on this Wind Down Wednesday. It's officially hump day. If you have a child or children, this is also the week a lot of children return to learn in the brick and mortar. Some children will return after Labor Day. If you are an educator, this is the week probably if you've been off for the summer, enjoying the weather and your time with your family and friends and just your getting your youth self together, right? To get your mindset, to change your mindset, hopefully. Then this also was a week that you returned to learn, whether it was getting oodles and oodles of PD, which is professional development, getting your classrooms in order, your offices in order, changing or moving within your district, whatever that looks like. This has been one heck of a week, and we are at hump day. We are midweek, and for most of us, tomorrow is our Friday because Labor Day weekend is ahead. It's been a lot going on. And then if you're in the D, if you're in Michigan, in Oakland County, a lot of us lost power. Some of us have been without power since Monday. I am one of those people, and it's been a rough ride. And today was the third day. They predicted that power wouldn't return until tomorrow by 10:30 at night, and I just was like, Lord, I can't take one more day in light of just so many other things that's coming my way, just the stress. But I'm alive. When one door closes, another one opens. When one leaf falls off a limb, there's plenty others on that limb and on that vine. And I say all that to say, just keep holding on. Today was a heavy day. I was feeling very down in my spirit, just not sad, but just heavy. Like there's so much going on. And I thought about it. Isn't that when things start to manipulate and fall all over the place? It's almost like building Jenga. You put one thing and then another thing, then another thing, and before you know it, it's swaying to the left, it's swaying to the right, and then that's the opportunity for your mind to start to wander. So we have hundreds and hundreds of thoughts every day, but it's the opportunity for you to think of something else, like, oh, here's another situation, another circumstance, another problem, or people will come and say, oh, let me add this. And I'm just at a point in my life, I'm like, listen, I choose not want. I don't want to. How about that? And it brought me to tonight's hot topic. I said, oh, okay. We're going to talk about when you know it is time to change the directions of your life. So your old life is one way, your new life is another way. And I'm going to share with you this evening 5 signs that it's time to change the direction of your life. Now, you may have several other signs, right? And I'm sure that we could touch and agree and come into an agreement and say, oh, yeah, that's a sign. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. That could be a sign. At the end of the day, we make our choices and we make our own decisions. Once you become a young adult, or if you are a child or a teenager and you tell your parents what to do, you think you grown, so you're making your own choices. But at the end of the day, once we become an adult, changes happen, whether you like it or not. The decisions we make, without power, was worried about waking up late, not waking up on time. And those things happened. And you have to improvise, and just getting dressed in the dark or with candles or with flashlights, just all of that. It's just a lot. And so it's just other things also that I've unpacked, and I've decided that I don't want to lug that stuff along with me. I've been here before. I'm cutting it off. I'm shutting the door on situations and circumstances, and unfortunately on people. I just don't have it in me, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anymore. And if you really examine your life, you might look at some things and some people and say, you know what? I just can't, right? And I had this little joke a couple of years ago when I said, I can't with a K. I'm back to that. And I said, well, if I can't, then I can't. What can I do? What do I want to do? What will I do? And it brought me to tonight's hot topic. So, with all that being said, I just want to say thank you. because there are several other platforms you could have tapped into tonight, logged onto. I'm thankful for this platform right here on Spotify and Anchor and all the other places that you listen over the globe through other social media platforms that I'm stumbling upon. I'm grateful. I'm very aware that I have a lot of listeners in a lot of places, and my show wouldn't be what it is without you. So let's jump into this. I'm not going to hold you long. Today's my sister's birthday. Happy birthday to my sister Sierra. She turned 37 today, and we're getting ready to celebrate her very shortly. Okay, so think about this. We, growing up, some of us, especially us young ladies, girls, some of us played house. And we pretended we were something, whatever it was in life. I don't think anybody pretended that they were a drunk, an alcoholic, an addict, a loser, misplaced. Just none of us played that position. I'm about 115% sure that was never a character that we stumbled upon. But in life, unfortunately, sometimes we encounter situations and circumstances and we end up in these places in life. And then we sit back and wonder how in the lifetime did we get here? Because most of us are driven by our goals, our dreams, our ambition, right? However, sometimes we get distracted. Sometimes we get discouraged and we find it difficult to figure out who we are, what we want, where we're going, how we're going to get there. Is this the right path for my life? Is that the right path for my life? Is this a good choice? Is that a bad choice? Then you got people who want to dictate how you live. They want to figure out what's best for you. At the end of the day, as long as you understand, while you want to not take advice or take advice, what you ultimately choose to do is going to be the blueprint for how you build your life. So you got to be careful in the things you choose and the decisions you make. At the end of the day, they will impact you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but my friend, keep living and they will impact you. Now, they can impact you in a good way or they can impact you in a not so good way. But I'm here to share a fun fact. Even if it impacts you in a negative way and you fail the plan, the beautiful thing about having another day added to your life, when you lay down and you close your eyes and you rest and you rise up and you see the sun outside or the sun getting ready to rise, that means you have a new opportunity. Now, what you do with that new opportunity is totally up to you. Again, it's all about the choices you make, okay? And some of us, we take too long to make choices, so some choices are made for us, okay? And sometimes we are on the fence about a decision. But we have to decide which way we're going to go. And that comes with the signs. Your old life, your new life. If what you did last year doesn't work for you this year, then obviously you need to do something different. If you're okay with what was going on last year and you still want to make change, that's still beautiful as well. But here are 5 signs, according to some research and data, that will tell you, oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to change the direction in which you're headed. And change is not going to always be comfortable. It's not going to always be easy. And it's not going to always be accepted or wanted. But I guarantee you, in a lot of cases, it's really, really needed. Number 1, you're pushing yourself, but nothing happens, right? You've been pushing yourself in a direction. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you don't see yourself making any progress. I need you to take a hard pause, sit back and say, why am I not moving forward? Why am I not moving out of this spot? Look at the circle of people that you circle yourself around. Look at your job situation or your educational situation. Look at your close-knit of friends. Look at your family. Look at you. Look at you. If you see familiarity, chances are you're not moving and nothing's changing because you're not moving and nothing's changing. So you can't point the finger at other people and say, well, this ain't happening. They didn't let this. When you wake up in the morning, whether you with a spouse, significant other, boo thing, or one night stand, you are making a choice of what you're going to do after you rise up out that bed. If you're able to get up and walk on your own without any support, whether that's a person or a wheelchair or a walker or a cane, and you're able and you are in your right mind, then you have another opportunity and you need to take a hard pause and get frustrated, but get frustrated with yourself and look yourself in the mirror and have an honest conversation. What am I not doing that's getting me to the next level or getting me out of this spot? And I'm not telling you anything that I don't do or haven't done. As a matter of fact, I had to do some of that this morning, some of that this afternoon, and I'm going to do some of that this evening. And I came upon some things and I said, well, Lord God, there's a lot going on in my mind, my heart, and my spirit. So I don't want to make rational decisions through emotions, but there's some things that are redundant. And when things are redundant and they don't work for you and they make you feel a certain way, like a spirit or a feeling, chances are it's And so you have to look and say, okay, I'm participating in this or participating in that with this person or with these people or with this group or with this organization, with myself. And you got to take ownership and accountability and say, I got to make some changes. Nothing's wrong with that, but it comes to a point you have to make some changes. And some of you need to actually set a time limit, because you give yourself, well, I'm gonna give myself 6 months. Are you really giving yourself 6 months? I remember talking to somebody and they were telling me about a situation their friends were going through where they were displaced, and they had a friend who opened up their door and said, well, you could stay with me and get on your feet. And that person told them, I'll be here I give myself 3 months minimum, 6 months maximum. Well, needless to say, they're there 2 years. Now the people ain't said anything because they helping them pay bills and things of that nature. But wow, you passed that. And what if that person or those people or that family or that friend thought to themselves or had sidebar conversations, because it happened, when they gonna leave? And nothing worse is when you come and you got a crew of people with you. If you got a child or children, especially when they're small or young, it's kind of like, oh my God. And if that person you're staying with or that family have no children or well-mannered children, and your children are like they are part of the zoo because they're all over the place, there's no structure and there's no discipline, then they can't wait for you to leave. Now, nobody wants to make anybody homeless, but let's be clear. Okay, what are we doing here? You gave yourself a time limit. You've overrode that time limit. That's why I find myself saying, I hope that nobody ever has to live with me, because I'm going to be strict about that. If you have to come here and you're displaced, we will have a letter of agreement. I don't care who you are. Okay. Unless it's my mother. But outside of my mother, you're going to have to. Okay. So what's your timeline? You need a few weeks. And when we say few, I'm not letting you choose the few. Is that a week, 2, 3, 4? Do you need a month? Do you need 2 months? Do you need 3 months? And then you got to be careful, because some places, if you don't own your own home, they have a very strict policy, and a lot of people need to read their leases. Unfortunately, I do know some people who've lost their homes or rent has increased because people overstayed their welcome. And even though you extended help, they took advantage of it or neglected to be on their grind. So it impacted you. And then when they officially leave, that increase in rent, it doesn't go back down, or you losing your place, it doesn't help you find a new place. You get what I'm saying? So we have to give ourselves limitations and timelines and be honest and stick with them. I know that's not comfortable for some people, but ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a must. Okay? Give yourself a timeline. Make necessary strides to be able to reach your goal. Second, everything's falling apart around you. I think we could probably come into an agreement. It seems like everything is happening. I felt like that this morning. Like, oh my God, everything that could be going wrong is happening. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, directly, indirectly. I felt like I was ping-ponging. And I'm like, okay, something's got to give. And then I had to take lunch and really get my thoughts together. And I told myself what I was going to do and how I was going to handle things moving forward. And I didn't do it through emotions. It's just like, okay, I'm tired. Some things have to change. And I got to do the changing. Because, let's be clear, when change needs to come and you're the only one that sees change needs to come, if you're involved with a person or people, organization, company, or whatever that looks like, if they don't see change necessary, they looking at you like, I'm good. And it's like, I'm not. So I need to remove myself. Okay? You can't expect everybody to change because you feel like you need to change, but you need to change because you know you need to change. And it might feel like, you're picking on yourself or you're not believing in yourself, but you have to say, hey, if things are falling apart, I need to build things up. But you don't want to build up what fell apart. You want to make it stronger, reinforce it, or get something new and improved. Okay? The obvious becomes the obvious, right? It does. And it puts you back right here at that point where you're looking at the sign that says old life, new life, or directions, the pitchfork in the road. And it's difficult for some people because a lot of people don't like to leave people behind or feel like they left people behind, but it's not about you leaving them behind. If you were to fall dead today, they're going to still be here on earth and live. I always remind people about that. Well, I can't do this and I can't do that to them and they need me and what are they going to do? I don't know, but they'll figure it out. And sometimes, unfortunately, God will remove you in some fashion or form and put you where you are by your lonely, or they're all by their lonely if you become that crutch. And they'll have to figure that thing out. Okay? So instead of worrying about what you can't change, what you've lost, what's broken, what can't be fixed, think about what you want to do moving ahead, leaving all that bad energy behind. Number 3, you just don't feel like you're feeling good about it. You made a decision and it's not really for you. Don't spend too much time there. I have to say that. Don't spend too much time in that situation, that circumstance. You'll look up and you engage somebody a year, 5 years, 10 years, and you'll say, what do I have to show for it? And you kick yourself in the behind and you look and say, well, me? Why did I do this? Why didn't I do that? If it doesn't feel good and it doesn't make you happy, I don't care how many times you have to choose, change, do that. You wouldn't get married and stay with somebody. Well, I'm gonna hope you won't. You wouldn't get married and stay with somebody because, oh, we've been together for so long. We've known each other for so long. Wouldn't you get married and stay with somebody because you love them and things work and you guys are, in unison and you're good companions and you're good friends and yada yada. Okay? You got to put in the energy, put in the work. But if it's something that doesn't make you happy, like if it's a job you don't like, you're not going to get up with cheer in your heart. You're going to drag your ass. You're going to drag your feet. If you're in school, you don't like your school, you're going to not pay attention. If you don't like your friends, it's all these things. There's telltale signs. But my friend, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you got to make the change. If you're the one with the issue and the problem, only you can change it for yourself. And you can't do it because someone told you. You have to do it because you know it's time. Okay? You don't want to deal with depression and being stressed and all these things that come because it affects your health whether you know it or not. So don't become judgmental too hard, but be judgmental. Come down when it's appropriate in the appropriate places in your life. For you, don't be trying to judge other people. Judge yourself, right? You've made mistakes and that's what this life is for. Make mistakes, learn, grow, and move on. So if you have the opportunity to do it and you've done it whether you liked it or not, you can't dictate other people's lives. I know it's hard, especially for us as parents, right? Or significant others or spouses. But everybody has the right to make their own mess ups. Like they have the right to make their own cleanups. Now we can assist, but we can't do it for people or they'll never get the lesson. Okay? It's time to face your reality. Be a big girl, be a big boy, and do what you know you need to do so you can find your peace, your happiness, and your solace. Number 4, your body is reacting. It's telling you something, right? Your body is going to tell you like, I'm not feeling good about this. Something ain't right, right? You might go through a roller coaster of emotions, anger, frustration, fear, anxiety, tension, doubts, happiness, unhappiness, joy, all kind of things, right? And your body like, Lord, what are you doing to me, right? You work. You don't find time to eat. I ain't had time to eat. I can't tell you how many times I have said that. How many times I've heard people say, well, I didn't get anything to eat today. I haven't eaten all day because... What? The first thing, and I'm bad at this, but they say the first meal is the best meal, the most important meal, because it's like the fuel to your body, like gas is to your car. Your car's not going to keep going if you don't put gas in it. And when you on a half a tank, you got to keep checking that gas gauge to see how far you can go. Where your body will tell you. And unfortunately, I'm guilty of this. I push. I've decided after this weekend, I had a busy weekend. And I decided, ain't no way I'm about to be pushing myself. And then I look up and my body is all broken down and I'm from the next thing. It got to make sense. And I got to give myself time to realign things. And that's just me having self-talk. My body talked to me and I ignore it. But if my body don't work, then it's like, okay, on to the next, right? You got to take some time for you. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this term self-care. Now, I got a surprise. I have an announcement also that I'll be making probably in November. But yeah, we got to take some you time, y'all. We got to get our lives together. And I'm hoping that the good Lord will allow me to have the knowledge, the wisdom, the ability, the tenacity, the withstanding power, the capacity in my mind, heart, and spirit to help bring forth something that will help us each and every day in some fashion or form. Okay? You got to ask yourself, what's my body trying to tell me? Right? You get a headache, your back ache, your legs, your arms, your knees. Think about it. Look at and revisit. What did I do? What did I lift? What did I move? What didn't I do? Rest. I'm bad at that. Rest. We don't get enough rest. There's 24 hours in a day. If you work 8 to 12 hours a day, you taking care of yourself, a family, you still, if you're an entrepreneur, you running a business, when do you rest? I can't tell you how often I hear conversations that sounds like a norm. Oh, I'm floating off 3 hours of sleep. What? But I'm guilty of it. And then we get mad, but who we get mad at? We have to get mad at ourselves. So when your body starts to talk, I think it's time for us to stop and listen. And number 5, you're ignoring your inner voice. Y'all know something's telling you, your instinct, that hunch, that inner voice is like, girl, boy, lady, man. Something needs to change. And you give opportunity after opportunity for people to change, situations to change, and then you don't see change. You just as bad as the situation, the person, or the people, because you're not doing anything to change for you. And let me be clear, you can only change you. You see, it's a battle with changing yourself. How do you think you're going to change somebody else? So stop trying. But what I will tell you is, when you see something that needs to change within you, be bold about it and tell yourself, hey, we got to change something. Something got to give. Be intentional. Use your intuition to be intentional. Feel it in your heart, mind, and spirit, and make that change. Don't keep on doing the same old thing, getting the same result, and still complaining. Because why are you complaining if you know that this, that, and that needs to happen, but nothing's happening, and you blame, well, he didn't do, and she didn't do, and they didn't do, and we didn't do. What did you do out of all of that that could help push forward change? That's rhetorical. That's something you can ask yourself. Answer yourself, because you know the truth, the hard truth, and a lot of times the truth hurts. Unfortunately, most people don't like change and even be resistant. I see it all the day. All the time, every day, in every facet I could think of. And I look and I find myself figuring it out for other people, but then I look at my own self and I'm like, girl, you need to do some own reality checking on what ain't working for you and make some changes for you. Don't worry about what the next man, woman gonna do, boy, girl gonna do. Put it out there. If they don't take heed, then make your change, right? Change is possible, but you have to do what you need to do to make it happen. Follow your first mind. You hear that all the time. And in closing, write down what it is that bothers you. What do you see about your old life, your current life? Because today is today. It's your life, right? It's your life right now, right? Your current life, your future life is tomorrow. Your past life is yesterday. Today will be tomorrow, and tomorrow will bring forth you to look back at today as yesterday, and that's your past life. I know you're like, what? I know. I'm serious though. Think about it. Sometimes we're so overwhelmed and bombarded with things and situation and people's problems and issues that we don't take time to really sit and say, what matters to me? You can love your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your cousins, your niece, your nephew, your grandchildren, your children, your child, your relatives, your neighbor, your coworkers, your boss, your job, your employees, yada yada, the milkman, you get it. But you gotta love you first. And don't be beating yourself up and thinking or letting people tell you you're selfish. No, you just care about you. And you should. You got to care about you first, and then you can care about everybody else. You can't put other people's before you. Because when you do, they'll drive you crazy, batty, drive you to having a stroke or heart attack or something worse. And guess what? They'll still live. If you're gone, they'll still live. And then what's so freaking crazy, they'll say, I don't know what their problem was. What? Yeah, that part. Well, it's your girl TT from the D, and I hope that this has been a nice PBS. Or I should say PSA. Yeah, PSA. But I really want us to take a moment to just pause and figure out what direction we need to move in. If you're moving in a good direction, keep going. Don't let nothing behind you stop you and pull you back. But if you're stagnant, if you're standing still, if you're not making any moves in the direction in which you move and you want to go, then you need to re-examine your blueprint, your plan, and figure out what's the next move. Until next time, this is your girl TT from the D. I'll see you either on Tap In Tuesday next week or the next Wind Down Wednesday. I'll see you soon.